Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope you all are fit and fine. So, children, today we are going to start a new topic, characteristics of living things. Children, we know that all living things are made up of cells, and cell is the basic unit of life. Some organisms are unicellular and others are multicellular. The organisms that are made of only one cell is called the unicellular. For example, amoeba, yeast, bacteria are the unicellular organisms. Some organisms that are made up of more than one cell is called the multicellular organism. For example, mango plant, rose plant, pea plant, man, housefly, dog, cat, all are multicellular organisms. So children, the next characteristic feature is the reproduction. Reproduce to produce the new organism. We can say all the living organisms have the ability to produce the young ones of their own kind. For example, cat produces kitten who grow into the adult cats. A hen lays eggs which hatch into the chicks, and finally growing into the hens. A mango tree bears the fruit which possesses the seeds, and the seeds develop into a young seedling in due course of the time. This means that all the living things can make more of their own kind, so that there are two types of reproduction, asexual reproduction and the sexual reproduction. In the sexual reproduction involves two parents, and the asexual reproduction involves a single parent which is genetically identical to their parent. The next characteristic feature is the growth. Growth means some cells get larger and other new cells are added. We familiar with the growth of a baby into an adult. Like similarly, a germinating seed grows into a plant, and the growth is a permanent or irreversible in nature. It is an irreversible process. All living things grow from a single cell. The pattern of the growths is different in the plants and the animals. The non-living things is the growth is present externally. It takes place by the adding matter externally, and it is also reversible in nature. But the growth in the living things takes place by adding of the new body materials called the protoplasm, so that it is the internal growth. Development means the cells and the body parts become specialized for certain jobs. So it is called the development. And the aging, the cells and the body parts become damaged and cannot be repaired is called the aging. So we know that the period during which an organism completes its life cycle is called the lifespan. And then all the living things follow a life cycle. They start their life from a single cell, or in case of the animal, the life cycle consists of the birth, growth, reproduction, and death. And in case of plants, life cycle begins through the seeds, or we can say the spores. The next characteristic feature is the nutrition. Obtain and use the energy from the environment. Food is required by all the living things. We know that the autotrophs means the organism that can make their own food from its environment. For example, plants are autotroph, all the green plants. By the help of the photosynthesis process, they make their own food. And the heterotroph means the organism that has obtained its energy from the another organism, or they depend for the food for the another organism. It's called the heterotroph. The next characteristic feature of the living thing is the response to the External environment means stimulus. Stimulus is anything in the environment that causes a reaction from an organism. And response means a automatic reaction to a stimulus. And behavior means the learned and the inherited response to a stimulus. So, children, the living things respond to stimuli or changes in their surrounding. In cold weather, we wear woolen clothes. If our hand touches a hot object, we respond by quickly withdrawing it. And we know that there are some plants bend towards the sunlight called the phototrophic, and the roots grow downwards in the soil called the geotropics. So all are the stimulus and the response. So children, these are the basic characteristics features of the living organism. In addition, we can say the excretion is also a basic characteristic feature, because excretion is the removal of the waste materials from the body, which accumulate of the waste material is harmful for the body. For example, waste materials are excreted mainly in the form of urine, sweat, carbon dioxide by the living animals. So children, in some plants, the wastage are given out in the form of gum or a thick fluid called the latex. The another characteristic feature is the movement. The living things show the movement every day. We see the animals, birds, insects moving from one place to another place, like walking, running, swimming, flying. So it is the characteristic feature of the living organism. So children, the respiration is also the basic characteristic feature. All the living things respire through day and night. And in other words, we can say they take in or breathe in oxygen from the air and give out the carbon dioxide. The oxygen is used to produce the energy from the food consumed by the organism, and the energy is utilized to perform the various activities by the living beings. So children, we have discussed about some adaptation of the living organism like camel or cactus. We have already discussed. Now we are going to discuss about the adaptation in some aquatic habitats. For example, a aquatic habitat like fish. Fish is the example of aquatic organism. The animals like fish have a streamlined body, so that the body reduces the friction and help in the swimming. The fins of the fish help in the swimming, and also to prevent the rotting and the decay. The animals develop the special covering like scales, waxy coating, and the special breathing organs like the gills in the fish are present. Now we are going to discuss about the different type of aquatic plants. For example, the plants growing in the pond, lakes, rivers are called the aquatic plants. So there are special types of adaptations that are present in the aquatic plants. Some are submerged plant, those living completely under the water like the Hydrilla, Vallisneria. Some are the floating plants, those living or floating on the surface of the water. For example, water hyacinth. So there are some adaptation in their roots, stem and the leaves. Roots and the root hairs are poorly developed as water is not a problem. Stem is thin, flexible so that it can be bent along with the water movement or the pressure. The leaves in the submerged plant like the Hydrilla are the long and thin, so that the strong water currents are not able to tear them apart. So these are the characteristic features of the water plant we can say the aquatic plant, hydrilla, water lily or Vallisneria. So now we are going to discuss about the adaptation in some terrestrial habitats. We have already discussed about the adaptation by the camel. Now we are going to discuss the adaptation like the rats and the snakes. The animals do not have a long legs that a camel has to stay away from the heat, so that they stay deep inside the burrow during the day in the sand, and they come out only during the nights when it is cooler. So these are the adaptation. Now some adaptation of the mountain regions or very cold places. Animals like yak and the snow leopards live in very cold places. These animals show thick skin or have a thick fur to protect them from the cold. While yak has a long hair, snow leopard has a thick fur on its body. So these are the adaptation of the living organism. The adaptation of the living organism like lion and the deer, because they are living in grassland or the forest habitat. So there are the number of the adaptations. If we are taking example of a lion, lion obtain its food by killing the animals like deer, and lion is thus a predator and the deer is its prey. So the predator is bigger in size than the prey, and it lives in a forest or a grassland habitat. So the eyes of the lions are in front of the face. This allow get a correct idea about the distance and the location of its prey. It has a sharp teeth, long claws in its front legs, and the claws can be withdrawn inside the toes. Its light brown color help it to hide in the dry grassland when it hunts for the prey. The adaptation of the deers are the it has the long ear to hear the movement of the predators. The eyes of the deers are present on the side of the head. This help it to look in the all the direction and escape the danger. Deer can run very fast, thus saving itself away from the predator like lion. The adaptation in the birds are the bones are hollow and filled with the air cavities to make the body light. Feathers are also present, and the forelimbs are modified into the wings for flying purpose. So these are the adaptation of the living organism. So children, I hope this topic is clear. Any query you can write in query box. Now today I am sending you question answers of this chapter. You should complete the question answers. Thank you children.